Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. The war between the Supreme Court and Senior Counsel Ahmednassir Abdullahi continues. Earlier today, Senior Counsel, taking to his X account, shared out this post. Ahmednassir Abdullahi Senior Counsel, the irreducible minimum for judicial reforms. Chief Justice KOOME must go. Grossly incompetent in all conceivable parameters. No leadership skill, zero understanding of the law, zero, and urgent reconstitution of the Supreme Court. At least 4 judges must retire in public interests. The Senior Counsel's post a few hours today. I want us to dissect that for Kenyans to understand what's happening here. Why is it that this war is not stopping? I want us to dig deep into this for Kenyans to understand why this war is not stopping anytime soon. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give this video a like. Let's dig deep. Let me start by saying this. Senior Counsel talking of corruption in the Supreme Court is like a kettle calling the pot black. I don't think Kenyans trust Senior Counsel, and I also don't think Kenyans trust the Supreme Court. All these people, these individuals, are being seen as corrupt. Kenyans see Senior Counsel as corrupt, just as the Supreme Court is corrupt. When Senior Counsel says KOOME must go, I agree with him 100%, and not only KOOME, but the entire bench should go. Not even the 4 is talking about, the entire bench should go. And by Senior Counsel singling out only 4 and then sanitizing the remaining 3, that confirms beyond any reasonable doubt that the remaining 3 judges are actually in Senior Counsel's pocket. So these 4 that he wants to go may be wanasumbuana, but the remaining 3 are in Senior Counsel's pocket. And that's why I strongly believe that the entire bench should be sent home. And for those who have been following me here, I've always maintained that the weakest link in our judiciary is the Supreme Court. In fact, the higher you go in our judiciary, the less independent the courts are. The lower courts are coming out as much more independent than the upper courts, basing my argument on the kind of rulings we have been seeing coming from these courts. The upper courts are seen as leaning towards the government, and they can easily be compromised as a result of that. And now with the Supreme Court having made the 2022 ruling on the presidential petition, that also dented their image and confirmed beyond any reasonable doubt that it might have been a compromised kind of a ruling. That made very many Kenyans lose trust and faith in the court. So, why is this war not stopping anytime soon? I'm seeing 2 scenarios here. The first scenario, it's highly possible because we are in a game of politics and it's never that straight. It might be possible that William Ruto is using Senior Counsel to test the Supreme Court. Senior Counsel has been a staunch Ruto ally. This government is using him to test the court, to push the court to its limits, for the judges to make blunders. Because after all, they are human beings. And if pushed too much, they are bound to get emotional and to make some blunders. And already we have seen the court becoming emotional and giving out a ruling that has been condemned by very many Kenyans and legal experts. Blocking senior counsel from appearing before it, I believe that's an illegality. I know Kenyans are debating it differently, but even if you look at it just conventionally, I think that's an illegality. No court should stop anybody from appearing before it. The court has been exposed as very emotional. The senior counsel is still pushing the court to make more and more blunders that will now enable the government to come in to start finding ways of replacing the judges with judges who are more loyal to the system. As much as the Supreme Court might be friendly to the government, Ruto does not just want a friendly court, but a court that obeys him and carries out his orders. That's what William Ruto wants. So he's using senior counsel to push the Supreme Court for the court to make mistakes, after which they'll just be replaced. Ruto has already looked at 2027. He knows that in the coming years, the Supreme Court will still have a say into our presidential election. So in good time, he has already laid out a strategy on how to replace the likes of KOOME. And he's trying to test their limits using the senior counsel, Ahmednassir Abdullahi. I'm seeing that as the first possible game being played here. And then secondly, it can also be possible that William Ruto has fallen out with the senior counsel, Ahmednassir Abdullahi. The senior counsel is on his own. So he's very bitter and trying to fight this war to its bitter ends. So in a nutshell, these lawyers been used and now being dumped. And from some quarters that serves him right, because he has all along been supporting impunity. When the same court denied Kenyans justice in 2022, senior counsel praised the court. Now, it's his time to test how impunity tastes and smells. I'm seeing those two as possible scenarios. So this war is still going to continue because the system wants to use senior counsel to test the Supreme Court to its limits for the court to make blunders. And already we are seeing blunders being made. The system will just find a way of using those blunders the Supreme Court is making to replace the Supreme Court judges. Secondly, Ruto has fallen out with the senior counsel, so the senior counsel is just bitter and fighting to its bitter ends. Let me stop it there. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give this video a like. To any other person watching us outside Kenya, drop a comment, let us know from which part of the globe you are watching us from. If possible, subscribe, give this video a like. Let's meet in our next analysis. Thank you.
Tutaanza kufanya ingine? Hapana. Saa hii Nzoia Sugar, serikali ya William Ruto imeandama hiyo factory, imeweka kwa sale. Na kwa sababu wanataka kuuza, ni wenyewe wanataka kujichukulia. Nzoia iko na shamba 24,000 acres. Factory imeanzishwa juzi Kericho, haina shamba hata ekari moja. Uporojo ambayo yuko wanataka kununua Nzoia, watumie udongo yenyu, ya mababa zenu, of your grandfathers, to supply sugarcane to Kericho factory. Mimi kama mbunge wa Bumula, kiongozi wa Bungoma hii, rais, hauna bahati. You have no luck. Sitakubali hata nikibaki peke yangu. Mimi ni mwanaume, nema huya yobi buruburu na jinyuni chakwa wamboka sa rais wa dunia msindi kata. Nzoya